Yo, 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 welcome everyone. Alexis Nahayo here. And listen, before we start, can we just acknowledge how crazy it is that Africa has an organization that's supposed to keep the peace? It's like trying to herd cats, except the cats are countries with complicated histories and a lot of unresolved issues. Today we're going deep into why the African Union, bless its heart, struggles to bring peace to the continent. I mean, think about it. The AU has the toughest job in the world. It's like being the therapist for a family of 55, each with their own drama, baggage, and that one uncle who just can't let go of a grudge from 1978. We're talking coups, corruption, poverty, you name it, the continent's been through it, and the AU is right there in the middle trying to hold it all together. So buckle up as we unpack the top 5 challenges faced by the African Union. Trust me, it's going to be a bumpy ride, but hey, that's Africa for you. Let's be real, you can't solve problems on an empty stomach, and the African Union is basically running on fumes. Imagine trying to mediate a peace treaty between two countries while your phone is about to get cut off. That's the AU's reality. The AU relies heavily on contributions from member states, and let's just say the commitment to the cause is about as consistent as the electricity in some of these countries. Some nations pay their dues on time, others, well, they're always working on it. It's like trying to run a restaurant where half the customers just walk out without paying. And it's not like they're asking for a blank check. We're talking about funding peacekeeping missions, humanitarian aid, development projects, the essential stuff. But with limited funds, the AU is constantly forced to prioritize. And let me tell you, choosing between funding a school or stopping a war is a lose-lose situation. This chronic lack of funding hampers the AU's ability to respond effectively to crises. It's like showing up to a fire with a water gun. You have good intentions, but you're not equipped to handle the situation. And look, I get it, African nations are dealing with their own internal issues, but come on, people. We're talking about the future of the continent here. We need to invest in peace, and that means investing in the AU. Otherwise, we're just setting ourselves up for failure. And trust me, when it comes to peace and security, failure is not an option. Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Or should I say, the elephants running amok in the room. Political instability within member states is a major headache for the AU. It's like trying to build a house on a foundation of jelly. Good luck with that. You've got coups happening faster than you can say democratic transition. Leaders clinging to power like it's the last avocado on earth. And elections? Let's just say the phrase free and fair doesn't always apply. It's enough to make you want to tear your hair out. This instability creates a breeding ground for conflict and undermines the AU's efforts to promote peace and security. How can you expect to foster regional cooperation when countries are too busy fighting amongst themselves? It's like trying to organize a group project with classmates who refuse to work together. And the worst part is this instability often spills over borders, creating regional crises that the AU is then expected to resolve. It's like being the designated driver for a group of friends who can't handle their liquor. You spend the whole night cleaning up their mess. The AU needs to find ways to address the root causes of instability within member states, whether it's promoting good governance, strengthening democratic institutions, or holding leaders accountable for human rights abuses. We need to fix the roof before the whole house collapses. Okay, let's be real. Africa has always been a playground for outside powers, each vying for influence and resources. It's like a never-ending game of risk, with African nations as the board game pieces. You've got former colonial powers still pulling strings from afar, emerging economies like China flexing their economic muscle, and superpowers like the US and Russia playing their geopolitical games. It's enough to make you wonder who's really calling the shots. This external influence often undermines the AU's independence and hampers its ability to act in the best interests of the continent. It's like trying to make a decision while everyone in the room has an opinion and their own agenda. Some countries might prioritize their own economic interests over the continent's stability. Others might use aid as leverage to advance their own political goals. It's a complex web of relationships, and the AU is often caught in the middle. The AU needs to assert its independence and resist external pressure that undermines its mission. It's time for Africa to chart its own course, free from the interference of those who claim to know what's best for the continent. Let's address the elephant in the room, or should I say, the corrupt official with their hand in the cookie jar. Corruption is like a nasty virus, eating away at the AU's credibility and effectiveness. We're talking about embezzlement, bribery, nepotism, the whole shebang. It's like a bad episode of House of Cards, except it's real life and the stakes are much higher. This culture of corruption erodes public trust in the AU and undermines its ability to promote good governance and accountability. When people see their leaders lining their own pockets instead of serving the people, they lose faith in the entire system. And let's be clear, corruption is not just an African problem, it's a global issue, but that doesn't make it any less damaging. It's like saying, well, everyone's doing it, as an excuse for cheating on a test. The AU needs to take a hard line against corruption within its own ranks and among member states. We need transparency, accountability, and consequences for those who abuse their power. Okay, imagine a police department where all the officers speak different languages, have different training, and refuse to share equipment. That's pretty much the situation with the AU and its lack of a unified military force. Right now, the AU relies on member states to voluntarily contribute troops for peacekeeping missions. It's like organizing a pickup basketball game and hoping everyone shows up on time and knows how to play. This ad hoc approach is slow, inefficient, and often ineffective. By the time troops are deployed, the situation on the ground might have already escalated. It's like calling the fire department after your house has already burned down. A unified military force would allow the AU to respond more quickly and effectively to crises, deter potential conflicts, and enforce its decisions. It's like having a fire extinguisher handy. You hope you never have to use it, but it's good to know it's there. But creating such a force is easier said than done. It requires trust, coordination, and a willingness to cede some sovereignty to a supranational body. It's a big ask, but the alternative is more conflict, more instability, and more suffering. So there you have it, folks, the top 5 challenges facing the African Union in its quest for peace. It's a tough job, but hey, somebody's got to do it, right? Thanks for watching. If you found this video informative, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content. Let us know in the comments what you think the African Union can do to overcome these challenges. Can this organization achieve its ambitious goals? Or is it destined to remain a dream deferred? The answer, my friends, is up to all of us. Let's keep the conversation going.
Beat,